Live on Peny Radio, the #1 online Christian radio station. Peny Radio, hope for the hopeless.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
From the depth of our hearts, Lord, you alone deserve the Lord.
Peny Radio.
Thank you, Jesus. So why he wanted me? Any power ever so
Beloved, good evening and welcome back to Peny Radio. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube, Peny GH. Wherever you're doing the watching, share the link for someone to join. This evening we're here once again, bringing you a time with the counselor. And so today we want to continue from where we left off, and today we're looking at how you can deal with your mother-in-law. So dealing with mother-in-laws, and counselor is here and he's ready. So join me, welcome Counsellor back to the studio. Counsellor Tony, good evening and welcome back.
Good evening, Senior. Good evening for hosting me, and good evening to our listeners and our viewers.
I want to believe you're doing very well.
we are doing very well by grace.
We thank God.
Yeah,
Thank God.
yeah.
So we're back, and I want to just allow you to carry us through today's session.
Thank you very much. So we've been talking about in-laws in marriage, and how to deal with our in-laws or how to live with them. I think the appropriate word should be how to live with our in-laws or how to relate with our in-laws.
Okay.
The last time we established the fact that our in-laws are our spouse parents or our spouse relatives. They, in fact, build their character. They nurture and influence their lives. So it is important for us to be very mindful how we relate with them, so that we don't create enmity, we don't also overstep our boundaries, and we don't also allow them or see them overstepping their boundaries. We also mentioned that our relationship with our in-laws will go a long way to build or destroy even the marriage. So it is important for us to be mindful how we relate with them. We try to point at some few laws for our in-laws. And we said one of the laws is that you don't overstep your boundaries. Well, another law is allow your spouse or allow your children to grow. We also said that you don't determine what they do or what they decide on. We said you should only suggest and don't stamp your idea or decisions on them. It's very, very important because we love our in-laws. It's our in-laws who give us our wives and our husbands.
Sure.
And there's no way we would deliberately or we want to disrespect them. So we today want to proceed by looking at relating or living with our mother-in-laws.
Okay.
The last time we mentioned that it is our mothers who usually visit the marital home. Fathers don't really care. I don't know what they will want to come and do, apart from maybe you want to come and see if they will get some money or something. But for our mothers, they will call, they will come. And I remember we said one of the laws is for you not to overstay your visit.
Yeah.
Don't overstay your visit.
Yeah.
So today is our mother-in-laws.
Okay.
You know, Ruth in the scriptures had a mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Naomi in the scriptures had daughter-in-laws. So I'm talking about specific family, that is the family of Naomi.
Okay.
I was reading through the scriptures and trying to look at what kind of relationship does mother-in-law Naomi had with the daughter-in-laws for them to go that extent of following her even though their husbands are no more. This will be a very powerful mother-in-law.
Sure.
This, I'm sure, will be a mother-in-law who automatically became a mother to the daughter-in-laws. Other than that, it will be difficult for the children, for the ladies to follow. It was difficult for the one who returned to even return. It was after long discussion that she agreed to do what? To return. Other than that, the two of them would have followed. Ruth's daughter-in-law said, Naomi, my mother-in-law, entreat me not to go back, because your people will be my people, your God will be my God, oh, and I will live the rest of my life with you. Naomi asked, do you think at my age I'm going to get a husband who will make me pregnant and give birth to? And how long are you going to stay for the child to grow? Wow. This should also tell you the kind of mother Naomi was to the children, the influence she had on the children. So the position of mother-in-law is very, very sensitive, especially talking about we Christian homes. When we said that one of the duties of mother-in-law is to build that spiritual capacity of the children. Now it becomes difficult living with a mother-in-law who will always want to make life difficult for you. You know one interesting thing? Your mother-in-law is a woman, and you, the wife, you are also a woman. Mother-in-law had trained the son in order to probably come and take care of her. And now the child is going to share that kind of love. Either share that kind of love or give all to you as a wife. So a mother who doesn't understand or will not come in terms with the fact that my son is now married and now will have to live his life with the wife and the children. This mother-in-law will always intrude. This mother-in-law will always want to influence decisions. This mother-in-law will always want to keep the son like a child.
Always close.
The scripture we said the other day that, and a man will leave the father and the mother and will cleave with the wife, and both of them will become one flesh. So it is important for us to note, and for our mother and our mothers to know, that at a point in time, we will live and we will cleave. We will live and we will cleave. And when we live and cleave, they should allow us that independence.
Sure.
So you have our wives always nagging whenever our mother calls.
Okay.
When they see our mother's call, they wish the call doesn't come. They wish they can do something about it. Either they put it on low speaker, or like, you know, they wish they even divert the call.
They mute it so you don't even hear it.
Exactly. So you see that you, the husband, you should know that your mother probably, or your wife, is not understanding something. Maybe there is something wrong, and you, the husband, you may have to do what? Step in. Sometimes sons also become so fixated with their mothers.
Okay.
And they will not want their wives to talk about their mothers. And there are wives who will also will not also say anything good about their mother-in-laws. So what do we do? What do we do when we come across mother-in-laws who are possessive, mother-in-laws who always want to influence and control. What can we do as daughter-in-laws so we can enjoy our marital home or our home and our husband? We can also enjoy our husband's family, because entering into trouble with your mother-in-law is as entering into trouble with the whole family.
Yeah.
So tonight we will want to say, number one, learn how to pick your battles.
Okay.
Learn the battles to engage in.
Okay.
So number one, learn how to pick your battles.
All right.
As a daughter-in-law, in order to live peacefully and in harmony with your mother-in-law, it is important to know which battle to engage in. Don't go answering or defending everything. It's very, very important. Learn how to pick your battles. Some of what your mother-in-law will be arguing about, or will be suggesting, or will be putting across, might not be necessary. It will be helpful if you overlook or you don't even talk.
Okay.
There are mother-in-laws whose interest is just to protect the interest of their children and not the interest of the marriage. They are not in for the peace of the marriage, but for their personal interest. What they can still be getting from their son.
Okay.
Without minding what their son can do in order to protect and preserve and grow the marriage. The last time we mentioned that when your mother-in-law comes home or visits you, and there is always a fight between you and your husband, you must wise up. We are not asking you to leave the house and go and stay with your parents so that the mother will marry the son. You know, people have that perception.
Yeah.
Because she's going to determine what the son is going to eat, the time the son is going to eat, the time the son is going to sleep. You understand? Because she's in, and the son will have to, she will engage the son in long conversation. When you, the wife, you need him in bed.
Very difficult.
I'm telling you something that a lot of wives will not talk about, especially when their mother-in-laws visit. You understand? Mothers want to go to the kitchen by themselves. Number 2, be assertive. Be assertive about your decisions. Let your mother-in-law know that she is very much welcome to the house. But from the gate to the sitting room, that's where her boundaries ends. The bedroom is not hers. Be assertive. Let your mother-in-law know you are in control and prove to her that you are in control. There are ladies, immediately their mother-in-laws come around, they don't go to the kitchen, they don't clean. You know, Like they sit and relax because mother-in-law is in. As for my mother-in-law, she loves me. She loves me, so she's going to do all this. No. Don't leave those things to your mother-in-law. Because at a point in time, that thing you call love, you know.
Most of them start marking whatever you do when they come around.
Oh yes.
Once you relax, then
they are watching.
Yeah.
They are watching. There are things that probably, let me tell you something. There are things that during the dating or courtship or whatsoever, when you are visiting the house, when you are visiting the son or you are visiting them, they were seeing and warning their child or their son about, just with the hope that it might change.
Yeah.
Some will also blink an eye over them. But with time, they will let their son know that we saw this thing coming.
We told you.
You understand? So it is time for you to prove to them that you can take control of your home. You can control the children. You can take them to school. You can bring them back from school. You can cook for them. You can feed them. You can send them to bed. We are not saying that if your mother-in-law comes around, become a superwoman. You understand? But we are saying that immediately you are dealing with a difficult mother-in-law, you have to take your grounds. You need to be assertive. You need to prove yourself. Sometimes they are just in to cause commotion. I'm telling you. They are just in to destroy the peace of the marriage. They are just in to point at your wrongs to your husband. There are things that your husband will see about you and will will not mind. But immediately they come around, your mother-in-law, your husband becomes critical.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are saying that try as much as possible to be in control of your marriage. You see? Number 3. Engage your husband in talking to your mother-in-law.
Okay.
I must mention that it's not everything that you can talk about with your mother-in-law. And you can't always disagree with your mother-in-law on a matter. So the best you can do is to talk your husband into it. Can you let your mom or can you let mommy know that this is what we do in the house? You understand? This is what we do in our home. We don't do this. We don't say this. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like joke, a mother-in-law will leave the home and the children will pick up bad languages, bad characters. Because mother-in-law is always either insulting them or using some words. You understand?
Yeah.
Or it will be difficult for you as a daughter-in-law to probably tell your mother-in-law, no, mommy, please, this language is too hard for the children. Of course, it's polite, but if you're not careful, mother-in-law is going to interpret it as you don't want me to engage your children. So what do? Engage your husband. Let your husband know. can you tell your mom to tone down when she's talking to the children? Because in our home, we don't scream. We don't scream to correct anybody. We don't shout to correct anybody. We are always polite. So can you please ask mommy to be polite with the children? So in some of the battles, engage your husband. Very, very important. Engage your husband again in finding out how long your in-law is staying.
Okay.
And when will she be leaving? You know, because after 2 weeks of her stay, or 2 weeks of her stay will mean double utilities.
Yeah.
We will pay 3 times the utility. And there are homes like that. When there's a visitor, the first 1 week, they don't really mind.
Okay.
But immediately the visitor extends from 1 week to 2 weeks, every bill in the house,
You have to increase yours.
the
by
person
one.
will, yes, the person will be added. And you know, now money is hard to come by. And we are trying to economize.
Yeah.
So as we try to economize, it is important for us to know when she will be leaving, how long she is going to stay with us, so that when we are making our budget, we will know what best to do. I get what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because we haven't gotten to a point where we have to ask mother-in-law to give us money to buy condo or you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We haven't gotten there. So we are saying that you try as much as possible to engage your husband in talking to your mother-in-law. You know, what did Naomi do that Ruth will want to follow her to her hometown? That was powerful. But listen, Naomi advised Ruth, and the advice of of Naomi, in fact, gave Ruth a good life to start with. Someone will say, oh, it was a bad counsel. But listen to me. What else could Naomi have done? She taught the daughter-in-law to work with her hands. Go to the field. Even the remainder, after they have treasured the place, pick the pieces, pick the remainders, bring them home. For all you know, they will also sell those leftovers and make some money and take care of the home. You understand?
Yeah.
We want mother-in-laws who will advise us, who will counsel us, who will encourage us. We're saying that they shouldn't impose their decisions or their ideas on us. But there comes a point in time in our lives where the words of our mother-in-laws saves the family and even save the marriage and save us as individuals. And this is the kind of mother-in-laws we are talking about. Are you getting what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Not a mother-in-law who will want to check on the son. Have you eaten? What did you eat? Is your wife treating you well? A mother-in-law who will visit, and there is so much peace and harmony at home. Wow! This is what we are talking about. And this is what we expect from our mother-in-laws. That their presence should bring us blessing. Their grandchildren should see them and be excited. Let me tell you something. There are grandmas or grandmothers who visit and the children will ask, Grandma, when are you leaving?
You are tired. Oh, God.
You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There are grandmas who will visit and everything in the fridge will get finished.
Grandma is looking for comfort.
You see, we want mother-in-laws, like I said, whose presence will be a blessing to our home and not bring confusion. Mother-in-laws, when you are visiting, time yourself. I am talking about. Yeah, time yourself. So you don't become a nuisance to your daughter-in-law. You understand?
Yeah.
You come, you overstay. After overstaying, the marriage is in trouble. Let me tell you, sometimes their own sons will wake up early in the morning just to dodge them. Because they knew that if my mother should see me, she will start complaining about something. Something that we have lived with and we are okay with. Listen, there are mother-in-laws who always want to compare marriages.
Okay.
They want to compare their daughter's marriage to their son's marriage. But mother-in-laws should know that there is no same marriage anywhere. I get what I'm talking about. If you visit your daughter and your daughter prepares tea, rich tea for you, don't expect your daughter-in-law to do same, because your daughter-in-law is not your daughter. Let's accept this. Your daughter-in-law is not your daughter. So if you visit your daughter in her matrimonial home and she treats you like a queen, and you visit your son's matrimonial home and you're expecting the same treatment, please. Please.
Doesn't work that way.
No. For all you know, your daughter-in-law doesn't have that training. She doesn't even know about it. So maybe, and listen, all boils down to relationship. It is the kind of relationship you build with your daughter-in-law. That's when you will say, oh, mame, eneminyati ankameden menumu. And she'll go to the fridge. Do you understand?
Yeah.
She will organize tea for you. It boils down to relationship and communication. And even how you say it. There are daughter-in-laws who are also smart. And we expect that our wives will be as smart as Ruth. Who understand the languages of their mother-in-laws. You see, Naomi said, tonight, dress up, put on some oil, and put perfume on. Naomi is not saying that, Ruth, you don't know how to dress. No. This time around, we are talking about going on an agenda.
Okay.
So you should look like. You understand?
Yeah.
You should. So that you don't say that my mother-in-law is saying I don't know how to dress. You get what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Don't say that your mother-in-law is undermining your... No, that is not it. It boils down to relationship. Where mother-in-law and daughter-in-law will sit and talk about everything. And you know there are mother-in-laws who will discuss so much with their daughter-in-laws than even their sons.
Yeah.
And if they engage their husbands in same conversation, their husband will ask, but where did you hear this one too? You understand?
Yeah.
Before the wife will say, it's your mom who told me. Do you understand? It boils down to relationship. We want to encourage that mutual and cordial relationship between mother and daughter-in-laws. It's very, very important. I know one marriage where the lady will never discuss anything about the husband to the mother-in-law, because the mother-in-law will always support the son, even if he's wrong. So you ask yourself, in such case, what should the lady do? If your mother-in-law does not see anything wrong with what the son is doing, and all she does is to support him, what should you do? We're saying that everyone in your spouse's family is your in-law. Therefore, it is important to build good relationship with every family member. We are not saying that, get into them, but build a relationship that at least when there is an issue, you not have anybody to talk to. At least build a relationship that when there's an issue, you can get someone to do what? To talk to. talk to your counselor or talk to your counselors. If you're having difficulty dealing with your mother-in-law in handling your husband, talk to your counselors. Talk to someone in the family. And there should definitely be someone that your husband will feel shy of, or someone that your husband will likely want to listen to in the family. You see, when I'm talking about some of these things, I'm like, whom are you getting married to? That is why we mentioned that marry from the family. When you marry from the family, you will know the family members. You know whom your husband is shy of. That when there's an issue that you think the mother cannot handle or the parents cannot handle, that person should be able to handle and at least be neutral. Because you need a neutral mind in order to, handle certain issues. So you don't say that because he is from the family, all the time the family is talking for him. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So we are encouraging our mother-in-laws. We want to live with them and want to live peaceably with them. We wish they always visit us. In fact, we wish they come and overstay. But you see, at a point in time, we get fed up with each other. So when you come, stay a while and leave. When you come, your impact over our children should be positive, such that if you are not visiting us, our children will want to come and visit you. It's very, very important. We want mother-in-laws with the Naomi kind of spirit. Very, very important. And if you are blessed to have a good mother-in-law, don't undermine her. A mother-in-law who will want to check on you, not interfering, but genuinely checking on you, genuinely checking on the children, is very, very important. Don't undermine such mother-in-laws. So when we are also preparing to get into marriage, and you go to the house, study who is becoming your mother-in-law. Study. Watch her. Listen to what she is saying. Does she have the language of keeping home or destroying home? In a conversation with a lady, she was of the view that if my husband my to-be husband should have a single mother, it means she's going to be difficult. But today I want to say that not every mother wishes to be single. Not everyone enters into marriage. I don't think nobody enters into marriage with a view that I'm going to divorce. Yeah. So if your mother-in-law is a single parent, it doesn't mean she was bad or she couldn't stay in marriage. That's why. You may not know why. But we are saying that whether you are a single parent and your son is getting married, allow your son to marry. And don't interfere. Don't treat your son like an adult in Pampers. Give them that independence. You know, these are some of the reasons why the lady was making, the lady made this statement, that if my to-be husband's mother is single, then I'll have issues. Therefore, I will not want my husband to be someone who had undergone single parenting.
Interesting.
So tonight, we encouraging that our mother-in-laws should help us build our homes, build our marriages, build our children, because by their experience, I think they have enough to teach us, and they have what it takes to caution us on every step of the way. So next week, by the grace of God, we may not have much to say about our fathers, but I know of father-in-laws, and our counseling session will want to focus on them.
On fathers. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
All right. And so I think we've exhausted our time, but your final words before we go into some comments.
Thank you. So I want to end by saying that we love our mother-in-laws. We appreciate their effort in the lives of our spouse. We wish they are even our biological parents. But where things become difficult, they should help us bear them.
Right. Okay. So I want to pick some comments that you left with us. So on YouTube, we have Aaron Tyler. He says, set boundaries as a couple. Very important. Thank you, Counselor. And Andrew Zeppo says, engage your husband. God bless you, Counselor. And then Ahusi says, communication is key. Thank you, Tim. Thank you for all your comments and well wishes. Yesterday happens to be the birthday of Counselor. Oh, God. So, Counselor, I want to say a very, very happy birthday to you, and we pray that God will shine his face on you. May he lift you from where you are to a higher place. May God lift your head up. May he exalt you. May God provide for you and your family every single need of yours. May he protect and preserve your life. May he bless you with much so that you can always give others with the wisdom that God has given unto you. We bless God for your sake. And we know that next year by this time, we will be rejoicing for another wonderful year. A happy, happy birthday coming to you from the whole team of Peny Media.
Thank you.
Say God bless you. So do join us same time next week. Time with the Counselor. God bless you. Have a fruitful weekend. That is a bye from here.
You live on Peny Radio, your number one online Christian radio station. Peny Radio.